What a wonderful thing it is to wake up to cricket. That's what we're doing over here at Wake Up Cricket, powered by Pavilion Picks. Joining me are wide awake JB Cricket boys, that is Praatibh and Aswin, and they've been desperately waiting for an upset. Now, we're not really sure whether you'd call this a surprise or an upset, whichever way you look at it, and it is about the Pakistan saga. ICC rejects key PCB demands as India Pakistan T20 World Cup boycott drama nears climax. Now, that's the headline, but before we proceed, remember to like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. And with that, we go ahead. The long running standoff over Pakistan's potential boycott of India clash at the T20 World Cup appears to be approaching its decisive phase after a high level meeting between Pakistan Cricket Board, Bangladesh Cricket Board, and the International Cricket Council. With the India Pakistan fixture widely regarded as the most lucrative match in world cricket, estimated to be worth over 4,000 crore, the ICC moved quickly to prevent a breakdown. During the talks, the PCB placed a series of demands before the Jay Shah led ICC in return for reconsidering its boycott stance, while the ICC clarified that Bangladesh would not face any financial penalty despite not playing. It rejected several key proposals from Pakistan. These included requests for ICC intervention to facilitate India Pakistan bilateral cricket, a proposed tri series involving India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, and ICC involvement in securing an India tour of Bangladesh in 2026, all turned down on the grounds that such matters fall outside the purview of ICC.
Well, there's a lot of things to unpack.
Yeah.
A lot of things listed out here as well because it took a minute to get through all of that. But very interestingly, I think something that caught my eye firstly was that they're not going to be penalizing Bangladesh, which was interesting.
Which I also think
Yeah.
is fair. I mean, if they're going to back out of the World Cup, might as well, instead of playing the World Cup and then back out of certain matches.
With the Pakistan fixture, as of now, because of all of the discussions that we've seen, it does feel like Pakistan was obviously trying to use it to leverage and get somewhere. India-Pakistan bilaterals, that's something that would be really nice. In fact, we last had those back in 2010. It's been a while.
We had that when when Bhuvneshwar Kumar debuted.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was in 2012.
12,
Yeah.
my bad. So,
December.
yeah, so it's been a while, so long, in fact, that I've forgotten which year it was in. So that would be nice, but it seems to be the case that the fixture between India and Pakistan in this World Cup is on the lines of confirmation.
Yeah, I will honestly be shocked if it doesn't happen. We talked about this yesterday. I think we talked about it the day before as well. I will be really shocked if India-Pakistan doesn't take place. All of this is the shenanigans that happens. There's just so much drama for eventuality to take place. And that's a match between India and Pakistan. If it doesn't happen, there's just so much money being lost. And I don't think anyone wants that. All of this drama for eventually just the match going to happen. Yeah, I won't be surprised.
And remember tonight the game, there's a Pakistan USA game. So the
yeah.
result of that will also very likely determine which way Pakistan goes.
That is true.
Yeah, but that's it on this one.
So we summoned Thala in our previous episode. So today we are here talking about Roko. Kohli and Rohit moved to Category B in revamped BCCI contracts. Former India captains Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma have been moved down to Category B in the BCCI's central contracts list for 2025-26 season after now playing only one international format each. The BCCI has scrapped the A+ grade altogether, leaving Shubman Gill, Jasprit Bumrah and Ravindra Jadeja as the only players in the top Category A. Gill, who took over Test and ODI captaincy last year, emerges as the biggest gainer. The revised list has been trimmed to 30 players, with Mohammad Shami among notable omissions, while Akshay Patel has been downgraded to Category C despite being India's current T20 vice captain.
Yeah, the downgrading of Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli makes sense, of course, because they're only playing one format. For those of you guys who don't remember, the grade A+ contract was made for those test special players or players who would play all three formats. And that being scraped out says a couple of things if you think about it. Because the grade A+ contract came about when Virat Kohli was the captain. And of how much he would promote test cricket, but also because of the stardom that Virat Kohli had. And there were few players who would get this grade A+ contract. And that's how the test players were promoted. That's how BCCI wanted more test players to come into place. And that being scraped, I don't know, it's just very interesting to me. But what is more absurd for me is the fact that Akshay Patel in the last 2 years has been such an important player for the Indian team,
Yeah.
is now the vice captain in this T20 World Cup that's going on. Yet he is downgraded,
Yeah.
which makes no sense to me. Jadeja still being grade
Hmm.
A makes sense to me. I mean, he is a very important player, one of the best all rounders in the Test format. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, like the Akshar Patel thing is really surprising because not only, as you said, has he been a key player in the last T20 World Cup, he's a vice captain
The
now,
Champions Trophy.
Champions Trophy, and that covers the
Yeah.
ODIs as well, right? Because very soon it also seems like Jadeja is going to go out of the
Hmm.
reckoning for the ODI setup, and keeping those things in mind, it just feels weird. But even to talk about the omissions themselves, to see Shami out of the contracts means
Says
that
something.
that's probably the end of his career. It'll be a huge surprise if he makes it back from here. But apart from that, I think the A plus thing is very interesting. The
Yeah.
fact that it's gone, especially with all this chatter around superstar culture, sort of being done away with, which is funny because it's Rohit and Kohli who get felicitated after or before each
Yeah.
ODI series.
This is-
So there's a lot of irony, there's a lot of hypocrisy, but maybe this is a step in the right direction. Only time will tell. But some things are clear, some players are out, and some players are not being given enough importance.
So, if you guys haven't gone through the list, there aren't any new contracts from 31st, just come down to 30, and some players have been removed. If you were to look at the women's section, Jamira Rodriguez did get an upgrade, and now she's in the grade A contract.
Talking about steps in right direction, here's one for Scotland as they cruise past Italy to secure first World Cup win. Scotland claimed a convincing victory over Italy to register their first win of the T20 World Cup, delivering a strong all-round performance. Batting first, Scotland crossed the 200-run mark, with their top order setting the tone and a crucial partnership stabilizing the innings. In reply, Italy showed early intent in the power play but struggled to maintain momentum against disciplined bowling. The Menenzi brothers provided brief hope with their 73-run stand, the second highest partnership between siblings in T20 World Cup history. However, once they fell, Scotland tightened their grip, led by player of the match Michael Leake's 4-wicket haul. The bowlers stuck to their plans and the feeling remained sharp, sealing a morale boosting win ahead of tougher fixtures ahead.
Scotland just I just want to say outplayed Italy, and
Yeah.
it doesn't come as a shocker. But it's such a fairy tale start to Scotland for a team that wasn't even supposed to play in the World Cup, is now part of the World Cup. They get Italy as the first fixture, taking nothing away from Italy. But if you were just to look at the comparison and the strength of the squad, you would assume that Scotland would make it through, and that's exactly what happened. Interestingly enough, Italy is only the second team in World Cup history to have two sets of brothers playing in the playing 11. And more interestingly, Scotland in their innings, they took a wicket off the first ball four times, first ball of the over, four times through the innings, and the first wicket in the innings fell in the very first ball, and so showed the kind of dominance Scotland had. I think they had a very good start in their batting innings, but more importantly, they kept their bowling very, very tight. If you look at the economies, a lot of the bowlers didn't go over six. They were economically very, very tight, and that's exactly what they need to do against the bigger teams. You would assume Scotland beating Italy, but you would hope for Scotland to beat the bigger teams.
Troy
Definitely
didn't.
England.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they beat England as well. But yeah, very interesting fixture from an Italy point of view.
Yeah.
At least they didn't roll over like a lot of people might have expected them to. There was a fight, and it also came from the brothers itself. So the Manetti brothers, who were batting in the middle order, actually had a really good partnership. And at some point, obviously, Italy didn't look like they were going to win, but especially after losing those early wickets, it looked like there was a fight. So
Yeah.
that's something that moving forward into the tournament is going to be really nice to watch. And you would hope that these teams, someone like in Italy who's playing their very first World Cup, for them, for the players, it's just going to be about the experience of the World Cup itself.
True.
This is going to be so huge for them in terms of the exposure they get, and they're going to have so many learnings from this.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just going to be very interesting to watch.
Yeah, the other set of brother are the opening partners, the Mosca
Yeah.
brothers, which is very interesting because I don't think I could have ever opened the batting with my brother on a consistent basis. I think I'd probably lose my mind doing that. But yes, let's go talk about some Ranji Trophy stuff that happened.
All right, then. So, practicing economy of words, we move on to the next story because there's a timer on. History in Ranji. Auqib Nabi's 12-4 propels Jammu and Kashmir into maiden Ranji Trophy semi-final. Auqib Nabi produced a historic performance as Jammu and Kashmir qualified for their maiden Ranji Trophy semi-final, defeating Madhya Pradesh by 56 runs in Indore. Nabi claimed match figures of 12 for 110, following up his first innings 7 for 40 with 5 for 70 as MP were bowled out for 234 while chasing 291. 67 years after their Ranji debut rather, Jammu and Kashmir have reached the semi-finals for the first time and will face the winner of the Andhra versus Bengal quarter-final clash.
Dude, this is such a huge moment for Jammu and Kashmir,
True.
given the background that there is, given the political situation over there, but even more importantly, even with the Jammu Kashmir board and journalists trying to cover games there, it has always been a struggle. And for them to now get this kind of limelight, for them to play the brand of cricket that has got them this far, definitely it has to do a lot with the team itself, but also we have to talk about Auqib Nabi, right? Here's a man who, of course, in this game has picked up 12 wickets, but if I look at his figures in the last 5 Ranji games that he's played, he's picked up 24 wickets, but that's not all. He's also batted extremely well. So one of the biggest complaints or one of the biggest things that you're looking for, especially in an Indian setup, is a fast bowler who can tonk the ball a bit, is a fast bowler who can bat a bit. And Auqib Nabi over the years has shown that he has that batting ability also, because in these last 5 games he averages 63.6. He has a century, he's also got a 50, and he's remained not out multiple times. Also, he's got an IPL contract this time around, and so in terms of his own prospects for him being able to make it to India A, hopefully do well there and then move to India, this is huge.
Yeah, that is bizarre because if you think about it, the last 2-3 seasons, he's been doing really well. And for a man like him, he has never played for India A, which is insane. And he finally gets an IPL contract. And it wouldn't be a surprise now if he takes those steps playing for India and possibly even the Indian team in the next couple of years, because he hasn't done anything wrong. I was trying to find a phrase that I realized I have no idea how to say. But yeah, he hasn't put a step wrong is what I wanted to say. And he's done everything right this Ranji Trophy season. And it will be a shocker. It will be great for Jammu and Kashmir if they get through from the semi-final to the final itself. But it will be a shocker if he doesn't perform in the semi-final, because given the opportunity this Ranji season, even last year, but this Ranji season especially, he's taken wickets every time he's given a chance. And now he's also scoring the runs. The reason why he wasn't picked until now in the India A setup, and this is something we have made a video on too, is the fact that he's not express pace, or he's not the hit the deck kind of bowler that Gautam Gambhir, the management, wants him to be. But if you're taking wickets, if you're scoring runs, I don't think those are the factors should come into play. If you're getting the job done for the team, I think that's all should matter.
Yeah.
All right then. So meanwhile, hello Sandeep and Aswat. I hope I got your name correct. Thanks for providing us the cue for our next story, which is on KL Rahul's masterclass. KL Rahul's 130 steers Karnataka past Mumbai into Ranji semi-finals. Karnataka produced a composed run chase to knock Mumbai out of the Ranji Trophy quarterfinal, successfully hunting down a daunting target of 325 in Mumbai. KL Rahul anchored the chase with a superb 130, setting the platform with assured stroke play and calm decision-making at the top. After Rahul's dismissal triggered a brief wobble, Karnataka were tested as quick wickets fell and tensions rose on the field. However, Ravichandran Smaran's unbeaten 83 and Vidyadhar Patil's nerveless finishing ensured Karnataka stayed on course. Patil sealed the chase with a boundary, sparking celebrations in the Karnataka camp. The win completes a remarkable turnaround for Karnataka, who now advance to the semi-final, where they will face first-time qualifiers Uttarakhand.
I will be shocked if Karnataka don't go through and win yet another Ranji Trophy, because if you look at the team, it's star-studded. You have the likes of KL Rahul, you have the likes of Karun Nair, but you also have the likes of Smaran, you also have Mayank Agrawal, who was first the captain and then got sacked as the captain, and now Devdutt is the captain. You have Vidyadhar Patil, these two young players who've been scoring a lot of runs. Vidyadhar Patil is actually a bowling all-rounder who's also been picking a lot of wickets. This Karnataka side, I think, is one of the best in recent times, and it will shock me if they don't go through and win the trophy itself. But talking about KL Rahul especially, is the kind of knock you expect from him. First innings, he fell short, but in the second innings, he gave himself that time. He took a lot of time to get going, and that's what you expect from KL Rahul. He takes time in the test format, but he scores those runs. And the fact that he scored that 130, especially with Karnataka under pressure, while playing against Mumbai, who's still a solid side in the quarterfinals, you know you can't put a step wrong, because if you lose the game, you're out of the reckoning. Basically. And so for KL Rahul, for him to do that was great. And for Smaran to step it up, batting under pressure. Smaran's been able to do this Ranji Trophy season. It's only that he bats in the lower middle order, so by the time he gets to bat, he hardly has partners around him. But for him to be able to do that is also great. And I'm also biased because we've played with a lot of these guys. There's also Shreyas Gopal, by the way, in this playing 11, who also scores a lot of runs, who's picked up a lot of wickets. Yeah, it'll shock me if Karnataka doesn't get through.
Yeah. I mean, there's really not much more to add. You've covered most of it. We've played with a lot of these people. We
That
are
is true.
Karnataka boys as
Yeah.
well. So this feels personal as well. And yeah, it's like for people who are actively following the Ranji Trophy or are not also, Vidyadhar Patil, Smaran Ravichandran, players to watch out for. They're coming through the ranks extremely quickly. They're scoring heaps and heaps of runs, especially Smaran. So he is going to be
taking a lot of wickets.
a lot of wickets.
Yeah.
These are players to watch out for. And yeah, dude, I think Karnataka, it'll be surprising if they don't win the final from here.
Yeah, especially taking nothing away from Uttarakhand. They're a great side. They've made it to the semi-final. But if
Experience
Karnataka,
counts.
yeah, experience counts, and they've been here before.
That is not JB boys showing off. In the meanwhile, doing the expected, Iceland cricket social media. Now, Iceland cricket takes swipe as PCB and BCB push for tri-series with India. The Pakistan Cricket Board and Bangladesh Cricket Board have reportedly demanded a tri-series involving India ahead of the T20 World Cup, a move that has sparked reactions across the cricketing world. Adding a touch of satire, Iceland cricket weighed in on social media, suggesting that the boards should have instead approached them, claiming they would have readily agreed and even offered a safe operating space on one of Iceland's lava fields. The tongue in cheek post underlined Iceland cricket's long standing stance against what it termed brinkmanship, while also highlighting the ongoing uncertainty and logistical challenges surrounding bilateral and multi nation series involving India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh in the current global climate.
For anyone who's trying to run a social media page
Yep.
and is not sure the direction they should take, they should-
Especially if your country is not even playing a lot of cricket to begin with.
exactly, they should just go and follow Iceland's cricket page.
Yes.
Because it is the most tongue-in-cheek humor, as this also says. But this is not the first time they're pulling off something
True.
like this. They're known to have this sort of commentary on whenever there are issues or whenever things are not going the way of world cricket or especially Iceland cricket's ways. They're very happy to point out and not be worried about what the overlords might think. In fact, when the likes of Rohit and Kohli retired, they were happy to sort of have them on as their T20 specialists as well. So this sort of banter is always the case, and it's just lovely to see on cricket Twitter. Yeah,
Yeah, that is true. Because if BCCI do something like this, or if like those heavy big boards, the superpower boards put up something like this on.
Yeah.
It's on whatever on social media, they're going to get a lot of backlash. Iceland cricket have nothing to lose. They first of all hardly play any cricket, so might as well enjoy themselves, putting themselves out there in the cricketing world with their social media. And for them to be able to say stuff like this is great because it's unfiltered, and someone should say stuff like this. I also like Iceland cricket because get the opportunity, they'll insert themselves into any series. If a team backs out, they're ready to jump in. If the Ashes is going on for whatever reason, there's a player missing, they will jump in. So regardless of what it is, they are always up for the opportunity. At this point, they're begging for an opportunity. And I hope Iceland cricket at some point get to play more cricket. But more importantly, I do want to know who's running the social media page.
Exactly.
Because we'd love to have a chat.
It'll be hilarious if the day comes when Iceland cricket is finally like playing some
Yeah.
like World Cup or something, and then suddenly they have like money and there's a switch in like the admins, and then everyone just unfollows the Iceland cricket page.
Yeah, that's true. I won't be surprised if he's an Indian.
Well,
Well, they probably mentioned that they play as well, so it could be their captain or
Oh yeah,
Never-
that is true.
very possible.
Yeah,
Very possible.
that is true. I wouldn't imagine Iceland cricket have a social media team. Yeah, I would assume it's a player.
hitting a
Which is
shot
fine.
and then quickly tweeting about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
All right, then. So let's turn our attention to the fixtures today, taking your
Hmm.
quick reactions before we conclude.
Awesome. So we have 3 fixtures yet again because that's what we do in the World Cup. We have 3 fixtures every single day, lots of cricket. Firstly, we have Namibia taking on Netherlands, 2 countries from where we've spoken to a couple of the cricketers. So it's a fixture that we will watch and we will keep flexing the fact that we've done this. But also New Zealand versus UAE in the afternoon, and then Pakistan versus USA at night.
Yeah, I think the most interesting fixture is Pakistan USA because they've been there before. There've been upsets before, and this is the upset I'm waiting for. I think USA Pakistan will be interesting. See, Pakistan have 2 things going for them.
Hmm.
They either show up and make a disaster of a game, or they completely dominate. And I hope they do have the former, so that USA can just win.
It
And
just
then
opens the group so much. No?
yeah. And then I want to see what Pakistan stands on Sunday's game and where they go about things.
We'll know.
Yeah. But this has been Wake Up Cricket powered by Pavilion Picks. Today is a Tuesday. Yeah, it's a Tuesday morning. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed to us already, do that because it's important. Because then you'll get notifications from us every day at 8 a.m. Monday to Friday. So yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us. See you guys tomorrow at 8 a.m.